Hi, welcome back. We're here today to talk about polyurethane sealer, and we're looking at this project right here. This project is complete, and we are getting ready to protect it and seal it. So it is totally done. So we're going to be talking about a few different types of sealers today. So when you're sealing chalk paint, you can choose a variety of different sealers to do that with, and it depends on your purpose and what you're doing for which sealer you might pick. So some people seal their chalk paint with Mod Podge, others seal it with clear wax, and this is a Waverly clear wax, and others seal with a polyurethane. So today we're going to be using the polyurethane. And the reason we're going to be using the poly today is we're going to be using the top, doing the top. And the top is going to get a lot of wear and tear, and there'll be glasses that get set on it, things that are wet. So it needs to be more protected. And so we're going to do a couple coats of the poly on. Poly is a more protective finish than a clear wax or the Mod Podge sealer. So the reason we want that up here is because we want this really protected, especially on top. Now, you should never do more than one sealer on a chalk paint. Like, you wouldn't want to put down your wax sealer first and then put the poly on top of that. You don't want to do that. You just want to do one or the other. Now you can mix different, or you can do different sealers on different parts of the piece. You just don't want to put them on top of each other. So for example, for the rest of this piece, I sealed it in the Waverly clear wax. So it would have a more traditional chalk paint look. And so that's what I did this whole other part of the piece in, was the wax sealer. So I'm only doing the top in the poly. So I'd encourage you really to think about your piece and how it's going to be used in real life, and use the correct protection and sealer for your product or for your piece that is appropriate based on use. And again, you always want to seal your projects after you do any sort of chalk paint. You'll want to seal any place you laid chalk paint. So let's get started and get the top sealed. So we'll set this aside. And the sealer, polyurethane sealer we're using today is from Behr, and it's called Fast Polyurethane. It's a satin, and you want to make sure that it's water-based. It has to be a water-based polyurethane. So that's the one we're using today. Go ahead and open this up for you. Show you what that looks like. It's kind of milky. It's a kind of a watery, milky liquid. And when it dries, it'll dry clear. So we're going to give this a quick little stir. I'm just using the back of one of my paint brushes. Just give that a quick mix. And I'm going to drop this paintbrush then right into my water glass that I have ready to clean my brushes. And what we're going to be using to apply this today is we're going to be using a sponge brush rather than a bristle brush. Works just a little bit better so things don't go over the edge. Because I have a wax sealer on the other edge, I want to make sure that I don't let this go over. And the sponge brush allows you to really cut along the edge without having any bristles slide over onto the other surface. So that's why we're using the sponge today. So I'm going to just dip my sponge in, and I'm going to kind of just dab it into the cap, just to work the sealer into the sponge a little bit. All right, and then we're going to start with smooth, even strokes. Get on the edge here. And just smoothly and evenly lay that onto the surface. Just making sure I get it to the edges. It's very satisfying to seal your projects when you're done after all your hard work, to protect them and make sure that they'll last a lifetime. And I got a little bit on the edge here, so I'm just going to clean that up. Make sure that didn't happen on any of the other areas. And then just a quick smooth out. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and let that dry for a little bit, and then we'll put on another coat. So stay tuned.